Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host, and in studio with me, Q Magic Money over there. What's up, Q?
Another beautiful day.
Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yes, it is, man. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys, we are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble, rumble.com, like Rumble in the Jungle. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. All right, so let's jump right into it, shall we? Let's talk about a little oil. All right, so this article brought to you by Reuters over there, Jarrett Renshaw, if you want to look it up. And it's about the Trump administration preparing to meet with major U.S. oil companies to discuss the future of Venezuelan oil production now that Nicolás Maduro is out of power. All right, so a few little key facts here. So the administration is planning meetings with U.S. oil executives to explore whether American oil companies can help rebuild Venezuela's oil industry. Now, Venezuela, you may recall, sits on the largest proven oil reserves in the world and also remains an OPEC member. But production has kind of collapsed after years of this nationalization thing, sanctions, neglect, to say the least. Imagine that. The government took over and there was neglect. Chevron, by the way, is the only U.S. major still operating there, exporting about 150,000 barrels every day. Now, Exxon quickly, with energy stocks jumping, even though analysts say meaningful production increases would take years and billions of dollars to achieve. You know, the oil embargo remains in place. No firm commitments have been made. But let's talk about what actually matters here. Because this is kind of where Q, I would say this is where the headlines and the reality tend to part ways. So this is not about flipping a switch and flooding the market with cheap oil. I've heard that almost all night, every time this morning. You hear that, you flip on, it's all about flooding the market. Venezuela's oil sector is a wreck. Infrastructure is more than decayed. All their skilled labor is fleeing, if not have already fled. Like, if you really think about it, equipment, obsolete, legal frameworks, if they exist, are shaky. Man, anybody pretending this is fast money is either selling a narrative or doesn't really understand industry. You know, what this really represents, like, don't make any qualms about it. Leverage. Absolutely. Man, Venezuelan crude matters because it fits U.S. Gulf Coast refineries almost perfectly, like a little glove. That matters to American energy security. A lot. Matters to jobs, too. That matters to price stability, too. And that matters geopolitically because energy is power, whether people like that fact or not. And, you know, from a conservative standpoint, which I think a lot of my beautiful audience identifies as, we get to identify too, you know. But from a conservative standpoint, you know, this is where discipline separates adults from cheerleaders. Government doesn't drill oil. Government does not rebuild refineries. Private capital does that. And private capital only moves when rules are clear, when property is protected, and when contracts are enforceable. We'll talk a little bit. Well, let's go right into it. Because that's why Chevron's still there. I mean, Chevron, look, they learn how to operate in hostile political environments without betting the company. They figured out that formula somehow. You know, you turn to Exxon, you turn to Conoco, not so much. They learned the opposite lesson when their dear friend Hugo Chavez seized their assets. They did not forget either. So they're not rushing back without any kind of ironclad protections, court recognition, clear political path forward, no issues. This is a slam dunk. We're not even debating it. But for right now, you got Chevron. Now, I was curious. I don't know about you guys, but I was curious about how the markets would respond. Because that's a big deal. I mean, Venezuela, you know, that's no small market over there. But markets as a whole kind of popped off with optimism. I mean, you know, investors love optionality. It helps them. They kind of dig it. The more options. Actual barrels take time. Now let's talk about these subsidies, okay? Because that word makes us conservatives rightfully tense. If Washington is talking about incentives, they need to be very narrow, extremely temporary, and make them performance-based. I mean, this can't be it can't become another taxpayer backstop for political instability, just 'cause. That's how bad habits form, and accountability dies. But here's the upside. There's an upside here if it's handled correctly. Western Hemisphere energy production strengthens. That helps the United States. And remember the refineries and the FIT? Well, U.S. refineries gain access to compatible crude. That's really, really big, and that saves some time. I'm no expert at oil and gas, but I definitely have an interest in it. And anybody here does, I would imagine. Hostile suppliers, though, they lose leverage. There's some upside to here if we handle this, like I said, correctly. American companies bring standards and transparency and technology that Venezuela hasn't seen, definitely since the takeover, since the state-run oil market industry. That implies a lot there, Hugo. Remember when he gave President Obama a book?
He did?
Yeah, first time he met him, he gave him a book. Y'all Google that. I think it was at the UN. And it was an awkward moment.
I bet.
I mean, but that was so like he's just trying to puff his chest a little bit. You know, kind of weird. Anyway, we'll take a little break, guys. When we get back, let's finish this story. We got a whole bunch to talk about today, and I cannot wait. We'll be right back. Perfect, good. Hey, it's our Rumble folks. We were doing some switcheroos there. Don Ho, man. What's up, brother? I can't see this. Can you go past the screen there? Yeah. Epstein and Venezuela, both about oil. Epstein, baby, and Venezuela crew.
Man, I think you must have meant Diddy.
Don Ho.
You know, he's actually at the same prison as Diddy currently. So,
Wait, what?
yeah.
Wait,
So, like,
Epstein?
not Epstein.
Oh.
Diddy and Maduro.
Oh, my gosh.
My understanding is they're in the same lockup.
Did y'all hear that? So Quentin thinks that Maduro and Diddy are in the same facility. I would imagine Maduro has maybe a little bit more security. Maybe a little bit more. He's like probably like triple vaulted in. That was crazy, that operation.
He has the enhanced Epstein package.
Yes. Man, dude, Dono, you done got us kicked off over here, man.
I can make Diddy and Epstein jokes all day long.
He's got it. He's got it.
Like Senator Kennedy said, 3 things that do not hang themselves: mops, Christmas ornaments, and Jeffrey Epstein.
Hey, to our TikTok guys, man. So we're behind the scenes right now. We got about a 2-minute break in our commercial. We're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. But speaking of Maduro, that's what we're talking about. And we're kind of going at a different angle. In this particular topic, this discussion, we're talking about oil. And you know, some folks are saying all these things online and are on the interviews. But make no mistake about it. It's about leverage. About leverage. There's no and it's there. Now, how do you handle it though? That's the thing. And if we handle it correctly, which we have the opportunity to do, that could help out a lot. You know? That could help out a lot.
I think our two nations are on a journey of discovery together.
Venezuela?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way of saying it, Q. That's a good way of saying it. We got about a minute left, guys, till we get off a commercial break. Man, our TikTok guys, man, you guys are y'all are rocking today, man. Appreciate you. Q can't see you, but I can.
It's like the only screen I can't see.
I know. I have something that he can't see. That's amazing. I can see the TikTok stuff. That's cool. And I'm assuming I'm looking at it correctly because I know I am because look, I can wave. Here you go. I know. This is horrible. I get it. I'm going to get better at it.
All right, Rumble, we'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Going live in 30 seconds. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble. Let me see you. Don Ho's done kicked it off and got us squared away. You win the day today on the Rumble chat. Let me see you. Also on YouTube and all the things. And shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. All right, we're talking about Maduro. We're talking about more than that. What do we do with all this all over there? What's going to happen? Well, President Trump has an idea. One government to another. Well, it really is one government taking over another government-run system, but they're handing it over to the private sector. They're working with people that kind of learned how to navigate the system, Chevron being one of them. You were going to say something? Nope.
Lost that thought.
Maybe it's okay. It happens. It happens to me sometimes midstream. It's crazy. Now, here's the risk. So we talked about if we handle this right, which we can. Remember, our entire hemisphere strengthens, or at least energy production strengthens. Remember, Trump under the first time, Trump 1.0, we became energy independent. Q, I don't know where we're at on that now. I would imagine it's going to take him a hot minute to get there again.
I mean, he's definitely getting the supplies lined up.
You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. But if it's handled correctly, we got all that, man. Look at our refineries who already have access, would have access to compatible crude. That saves a lot of time, a lot of logistics. You know, all these other guys lose leverage, and that's what this is about. American companies bring all the things that you would think American companies bring: standards, transparency, technology. But here's the risk if this is handled poorly. Capital flees, and we've seen that. Lawsuits multiply. Man, that's their issue. I get it, but, still. Sanctions snap back. Taxpayers, though, it would be hard to convince me we wouldn't be absorbing some kind of loss. It would be hard to convince me of that, but I would love to be wrong. And Venezuela becomes another example of ambition outrunning governance. That's the risk. So this is kind of where Trump is creating his own Trump doctrine here. Seriously. You had the Bush doctrine, all these things, the Monroe doctrine. Renee brings that up. Very good point. Very good. And the way he used it, too. Very good points. But, the Trump doctrine kind of shows itself clearly here. And that is removal of criminal leadership, apply pressure, then let American enterprise compete, but on American terms. No blank checks, no fantasies, no moral lectures detached from reality, lodged in the dang, twilight sphere. Golly, I do these things. I just want to mail them grass, like green grass. Touch it. What do you, where do you, where do you get your sources? You know what I'm saying? Where do you get your sources? But I'll tell you what, when strength matters, I'm going to switch gears real quick. Shout out to my boys over there at C-Safe, man. Strength matters, custom matters, failure's not an option. C-Safe delivers. I'm telling you, C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, outlast the competition in the harshest environments. Man, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between. Check them out. C-Safe. Their products are American-made and manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. Check them out. csafe.com. SEA. Just like the ocean. Now, back to this story. Notice what's not happening. There's no nation-building plan. No speeches about remaking Venezuelan society. Not yet, at least. I hope we don't go there. No assumption that goodwill alone fixes broken systems. There's a lot of reality checks going on. There's a recognition that oil is economic power, and that economic power shapes political outcomes on the global scale. We here in the base station in Lafayette, Louisiana, know all about it. And that trickles down and up and all around to our friends across our great country that are viewing in. And we appreciate you. Pretty cool, huh, Q?
Absolutely.
But that's a grown-up approach. If Venezuela wants investment, yeah, it has to prove it can protect it. We're not Venezuela. If American companies return, they will demand security, arbitration rights, and enforceable contracts. Not something that, when I said ironclad, and that's something that the international courts or whatever that is, and your theory is as good as mine. They're as enforceable as all the countries agree they're enforceable in any given moment. That's what I summarize international law for you. Whatever they agree on at the time, and as long as they all agree at the same time on the same thing right then and there. Otherwise, it's all, but it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. You got to have, cooler heads can prevail when you have order and structure. I get it. Anyway, but Venezuela's got to get its act together from a Venezuelan standpoint. We're not colonizing. That's Britain. I'm kidding. Dude, they got some territory, man.
They do. So do the French.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be preaching to us.
The French control like half of Africa's currencies.
Racist. Can we say that?
It is
I mean,
objectively.
if Tim Walz can call us racist for calling out fraud, everything's racist. Racist. But the biggest mistake in all this approach on oil with Maduro and all this, the biggest mistake would be rushing this to chase short-term headlines, short-term prices, short-term political gains, short-term anything. We have got to keep our eye on the prize and think long-term, and I would assume they are. Everything they've done so far tells me they are. Seriously. Energy policy rewards patience and punishes emotion. Always has. Always has. Energy policy, for it to be stable, requires stability. Patience is a virtue, and it means a lot in the oil and gas industry. In energy as a whole. Other markets will forgive emotion. This one doesn't. And it's a lot. I mean, look in the Gulf of America. Yeah, that's right. Or if you identify with the Gulf of Mexico, whatever, go look down there. Or up there. We don't know who's listening. Might be on the Yucatan vacation or something. But man, we got an opportunity though. I'm telling you. Here's the bottom line. All of this is not charity. This is not a bailout. Not yet. This is not instant relief at the pump either, so we got to have realistic expectations, although that area is not terrible. He's doing a good job of that. But this is a very long game, a long game where leverage, discipline, realism matter, and they matter more than press releases, and they matter more than any talking points. If done right, America gains energy flexibility and strategic advantage. If done wrong, we repeat history, and we pay for it twice. So, that's the difference between optimism and seriousness. A little balance there. And right now, seriousness is what wins. So let's pray for our president. Let's pray for all these guys involved. This is a sticky little situation, but so far I believe I don't know anyone who could handle it better, really. And again, you may hate Trump, but you cannot argue who he's fighting for. You can't argue that at this point. All right, guys, stick around. Not with reason, at least. Stick around. We'll be right back. The phone lines are going to be open. Sean, you stick in, man. I'm telling you, we're coming right to you. Woo! There we go. Hey, Rumble, YouTube, TikTok, all my people out there that are streaming live, watching live. We are going to switch gears, man. We're going to talk about one of your favorite folks.
Bob Dole.
Oh, I
love Bob Dole.
How can you not like Bob Dole?
In high school, Bob Dole was like my password to like 5 things.
I think you've sent me something with Bob Dole.
I probably have.
So, wow, that's interesting. We're going to talk about Senator Chuck Schumer. Talk about Chuck Schumer when we get back. And, he's had a lot to say about Venezuela. He's had some interesting discussions.
And the cool thing is, he always deals in good faith,
Always.
honesty, integrity.
Always.
And, I can't even think of anything else. I tried to. I was going to continue that line. And
yeah. Well, look, I'm going to go get me a little coffee. TikTok guys and Rumble, everybody, we have about 3.5 minutes. I'm going to come back on real quick, though. But stick around. Hey, if you're on TikTok, give us a little follow. Follow us. Check us out. Can they DM? Do we do that?
On which platform?
TikTok.
They can.
Okay, all right, we're gonna watch it. Okay, good. Hey, we're just starting here, but we're getting better every single day. So, look, appreciate you. Give us a little follow. We'll be right back, literally 3 minutes, and we'll hit it hot. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Hey, man, this segment's brought to you by my friends over there at SeaSafe, SEA, just like the ocean, seasafe.com. Go visit those proud patriots over there. All right, let's switch gears there. Cue Money Magic. But before we do, we're going to talk about Chuck Schumer, and don't get too excited over there now. Don't you get too excited. My boy Sean has been waiting, and I'm not going to make this gentleman wait anymore. Bring the value. Bring the heat, Sean. What's up, buddy?
All right, so you can't make me believe that this is all about stopping drugs and, it's oil and restoring Venezuela and everything. Yeah, that's a consequence, and that's what we went in on. But sometimes you have an effect, and it does two different things. I think the most important thing is getting Russia, China, and Iran out of their supply chain, and now who's going to sell to them? You've got the Saudis that are kind of changing their attitude. They're kind of more favorable towards the West and not Russia like they used to be. And nobody wants China to be in charge of anything because they know how bad and ruthless they will be. So if it's handled well, this could be a good thing. and keep them repressed and prosperous for us.
Hey, Sean, you the man. That was a good points. Appreciate you, brother. Man, and look what he said though. Look what Sean. I'm gonna highlight something. China and Russia, and what Sean said. Get them out of the supply chain. Get them out of their supply chain. I forgot how much percentage of the world Venezuela supplies. Do you remember? 17 comes, but that seems like I'm just pulling out there. Don't quote me.
That actually sounds about right.
Man, if I'm right, boy, I tell you what. But don't quote me so far. We'll see. So let's go back to the phone lines. We're going to Warren. What's up, Warren?
Well, that's why Trump told that leader of Colombia he better watch his asset. You next. He told him because he ain't going to put up with communism in South America, And, a $500 billion stolen from America, $1 trillion stolen from Venezuela. How many palms do you think you could grease with $1.5 trillion, Josh?
Man, Warren, let me tell you something.
Quite a lot.
Quite a lot. So, quite a lot. You can buy a lot of boudin with that.
There's no way what we can't talk about didn't go down. It's too much money. And the Democrats are known for never letting a crisis go to waste. They create the crisis so they get mega rich. That's how they got all their money. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Warren. Thanks. Hey, look, I'll tell you what. Man packs a punch.
In 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds. I love it. All right, let's go to the caller. Caller, you are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Will in Lafayette. Hey, Josh.
Will. You got to write that number down. Q. Will calls all the time. What's up, Will?
That's right. Hey, so, yeah, Sean was kind of all over it. I think at a 10,000-foot view, I'm not as quite as smart as him, but I'm more at a 5,000-foot view. If you look at, all of the soldiers that were neutralized by those amazing operators, I think there was like 30 or 40. Every last one of them was Cuban. Every last one of them was Cuban. Not a single one of them was Venezuelan. The Cubans even put out a message after it happened saying what their brave soldiers had done. Now, I think it's more of killing 38 different birds with one stone. So now all of the oil or let me rephrase that, like 80 or 90% of the oil going into Cuba was all coming from Venezuela. They're not going to get that anymore. They're not going to get that. That regime is going to topple super quick. I also think that it was a shout out to everybody else in South America, including Colombia, new kids on the block, okay? And as well as the Danes who refuse to give us Greenland. Here's the deal with Greenland. That is so close in our backyard, and it's my understanding that at any given minute, you've got anywhere from about 40 to 50 Chinese ships circling it, and about 30 to 40 Russian ships circling it, and only about 20 or 30 American ships circling it. Something's going on there, and we've got to have that land. And I think it's a shout out to everybody.
Man, Will, you always bring quality. I appreciate it. Yeah, write that number down. Thank you so much. Hey, the way that Will was saying it, it kind of makes me think of like when you really think about it, Greenland came out of thin air. Who was talking about taking over Greenland?
Very boring policy analysts.
Really? So you've heard of this?
Because any nuke that Russia launches basically has to go over Greenland, and the fastest and most efficient way to intercept that ICBM is to hit it in its early stages. And the only way to do that is to place interceptors on Greenland.
I mean, I didn't know where the heck he was coming from. Okay, with that, I thought that was, I've said it on there. I was like, okay, it's kind of distracting. We got good things. Hey, at this point, I don't know. I'm open to hearing everybody out. But Will made a good point, because it is like knocking out 38 birds with one stone. It really is. And the pressure, we talk about oil and gas, this is leverage. But it's leverage to help the United States and to help the American people and the American worker and our allies too. But when you start pressuring China, specifically China in this case, Russia too, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And when you look at this global war, President Bush got it right. There's a global war on terror, but there was a global war, period. Economically, spiritually, whole bunch of ways. Financially, well, I guess economically. Yeah, I got you. Drugs, killing. It's crazy. But let's switch gears to something else that's kind of interesting. Your buddy Chuck Schumer. He's been busy. All right, so I ran across a nice little article from Fox News Digital covering this. Chuck Schumer, and there's other folks that are covering this too. He may be reversing himself on Venezuela.
Not Chuck Schumer.
A raw burger with cheese on the doggone grill. Schumer, that's what they call him. They call him Chuck Raw Meat on the Grill with Cheese. Schumer in Senate. It's like his nickname. Kind of like they referenced NKOTB earlier. Y'all know. You know what I'm talking about.
Man, there's no way someone took a picture of that and put it on the internet. Grilling a burger that's raw with cheese on it?
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, that's a real thing. Go
really?
Google. Yes, go Google. Oh, my gosh. All right, so, yeah, this article on your buddy, he may be reversing himself after what this article shows, after resurfaced comments from 2020. That's President Trump was the president then, where he attacked him. Schumer attacked Trump for not removing Nicolás Maduro, only to now warn that Maduro's arrest could lead to, quote, endless war. That's what he's saying. And this article, it really, it's good. So, a few little facts. February 2020. Last year of President Trump 1.0, Schumer publicly mocked Trump for failing to oust Maduro. It's all public record. Go look at it. All in the public domain, saying U.S. policy had flopped. You can all go pick this up. And that Maduro was more entrenched than ever. This is what Schumer said. Biden, by the way, President Biden later increased the bounty on Maduro. And Democrats broadly labeled him an illegitimate dictator. Well, over the weekend, apparently, things change. Of course, Trump authorized the precise U.S. operation that might have changed a few things, considering it captured Maduro and his wife and brought them back to New York to face federal narco-terrorism and drug trafficking charges tied to a 2020 indictment, same year, Chuck, that has now been expanded. But after the arrest, Schumer and other Democrats accused Trump of acting unlawfully. You can't make this up. I guess they can't call him racist on this, so now they're warning of endless war. One of the only presidents the only president in this century to not get us into an endless war or keep us in an endless war. And they're complaining that Congress was not notified. Man, if Congress was notified, Maduro would have been kicking his feet up in Schumer's hideaway and somewhere in the land of Oz. Are you kidding me? The administration responded that the operation was lawful, limited, it was, and required secrecy to avoid leaks and casualties. I mean, these guys, they hate America. I mean, I really do. They hate Trump more than they love America. That is a truth. Hey, guys, Kevin, I saw you over there. Renee, call back in. We'll bring you first. All right, guys, stick around. All right. Hey, guys, man, that's kind of crazy, huh? We're still in a commercial break, but, yeah, I mean, all this, I mean, can you even, like, compartmentalize this stuff?
It's hard sometimes. Like I was when we were on the radio, I was trying to remember what was the word I read that describes an ICBM before it's
Yeah.
fully in space. And
Yeah.
I believe it's in the apogee stage. I think.
Is that really it?
I think that's it.
That's pretty impressive. Hey, I got to make a tiny little phone call. Producer loves that when I do that in a break. You got something to tell the folks? Tell the folks. We'll be right back on the TikTok, too. Hey, free plug here, because shout out to my girl over there. I'll leave her name out. Rain State Bank, man. They did a good job. Yeah, I had to make a tiny little call, and Quinn had 3 minutes. And that poor little lady, I said, sorry, ma'am, to do this to you, but I have 2 minutes until I go back live on the radio. I hope you can help me. And sweet little thing, she did. And, within 1 minute, she was, how many times has a bank done that? That was fantastic. So I just want to give a shout out to our local, that's more local here in Acadiana. I got to wrap up. All right, guys, we're going live. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. TikTok, man. I love these. I love the audience in TikTok. We're about to go live on our regular show. Hey, give us a little follow, too. I can't hear it.
I heard
that. And audio. So if we adjust it, is this still a good shot? Look.
Well, it depends on where, honestly.
Okay. Right here. Okay. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. All right, there we go. Broadcasting live from Lafayette, Louisiana. Had a little audio issue there. And broadcasting live on rumble.com. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. All right, let's keep on keeping on, shall we? So let's deal with what all this actually shows. Now, we're talking about, of course, Chuck Schumer calling him basically mocking Trump for not doing anything Maduro. Then Trump does something to Maduro, and then he flip-flops, all this stuff. now let's deal with it, though, because it actually shows some things. I think it's a clean example, a very clean, crystal clear example of how Washington talks versus how Washington acts. Schumer didn't change his view of Maduro. Maduro also did not suddenly become less evil. What changed was who took responsibility. Tell me I'm wrong. Schumer didn't change any of that stuff, I'm telling you. In 2020, Democrats said Trump wasn't doing enough. In 2026, Trump did something. The moment action replaced doggone rhetoric, the objection shifted from outcomes to procedure. Well, this is not how we always do. We need to get back to the way we used to do it. Hate that in government. But as soon as it shifted, the objection shifted from the outcome, because they couldn't use that anymore. Then all of a sudden they worry about procedure. From justice to anxiety. From confidence, go get them, to fear. I'd be embarrassed to be a Democrat. I know a lot of good friends. I mean, most of my friends are not, but I have plenty of friends that are. I know you're not like this. I know you're not like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. I know that. I know you're not like Hakeem Jeffries either. I don't even think Hakeem Jeffries is like Hakeem Jeffries. I think it just sucked him in. I'm serious. But in 2020, it's kind of different. Interesting. And it's not about endless war. It wasn't an invasion. It was not regime building. No, that actually, the elites know all about that. They get money off of that. Power. This was the execution of a federal arrest warrant against a man already indicted for flooding American streets with doggone cocaine and weapons. What more do you want? That distinction matters. Schumer demanded results when Trump was talking. He demanded restraint when Trump delivers results. You can't win with this guy. There's no principle in that pattern. That's all about comfort with distance and discomfort with consequence. Like a little ballerina. He might get excited if I say that. Very quiet. Anywho, Bernie. Let's switch gears. Feel the burn. Guys, Bernie's mad. He's mad.
Did they put him in a regular hotel room and not a suite?
Yeah. Hey, he takes his average donation, $27. Anywho, Bernie Sanders finally called Nicolás Maduro a dictator. What? Did he? Socialist. What? I thought they loved that. That is the story. That is the story. Man, for years, Bernie danced around that word, wouldn't say it, wouldn't call him a dictator. He talked about elections. That's my Bernie voice. Senator Sanders would talk about nuance. He talked about literacy programs. I'm surprised he didn't shout out, well, like say something like, oh, even Hitler paved the roads, but he didn't say anything like that.
He would have had to have gone with Stalin. I mean, he did visit the USSR when he was mayor of whatever town in the 80s.
Wow. Yeah, that would be more appropriate. Stalin. Yeah. Even Stalin paved the roads. But he refused to say the obvious while millions fled Venezuela and cartels ran the country like a business. It is their business. Maduro, he's a narco-terrorist with the cartel as a state-sponsored entity, basically. Then Trump, he arrested Maduro. Suddenly, Bernie found his courage. And that tells you why this matters. Bernie isn't reacting to any kind of new information, just like Chuck Schumer wasn't. He's reacting to a new result. Schumer reacted because of who took responsibility. Bernie is reacting because of a new result. And that's actually happening a lot around the world. Man, Trump turned a talking point into a perp walk, and that shattered the comfort zone of the American left. They're comfortable condemning dictators in theory. They panic when someone actually enforces the consequences and then calls him like he's the bad guy. So Bernie's statement over there isn't moral clarity. It's narrative repair. He needs to be on record calling Maduro a dictator now because history just moved fast and left his little behind. I mean, look, hey, here's the lesson though. Words are easy, results force honesty, and this weekend, honesty finally showed up. That's what I would leave on that note with. All right, guys, so look, stick around. We're going to be right back. Take a tiny little break. Hour number 2, it is going to be hot and heavy. You don't want to miss this. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I remain your grateful host. And in studio with me over there still, Q Money Magic. What's up, Q?
It is a beautiful day.
There you go. Yes, it is. It is a very, 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 it's a beautiful day. Very beautiful. All right, guys, we're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on rumble.com, and a super shout out to our friends over at KLFY Plus. We certainly appreciate you. Okay, so we've had halftime. Let's move on to the third quarter. So, Hilton. Have you ever stayed at a Hilton?
Once or twice.
Yeah. Paris Hilton.
They left the lights on for me.
Yes, absolutely. We used to have a Sheriff Hilton, Rapides Parish. All my Sin-Law folks, you know. All right, so let's talk about something that should, well, really bother every American who claims to believe in fairness, the rule of law, and really basic professionalism. Let's talk about it. So a Hilton-branded hotel in Minnesota, supposedly canceled rooms for federal immigration agents. Shocker. Oh, and not because the hotel was full or because of a security issue or anything like that. Literally, they refused to book them because the guest worked for ICE.
Lordy.
Because I don't even think it was an ICE mission, right? It was he just worked for ICE.
I think it was a group booking.
Yeah.
But they let them book. They canceled it.
Oh, right, exactly. Once they found out.
Which is insane to me.
To say the least. So according to the emails released by ICE, they were in their official capacity, the hotel staff told federal agents in writing, that immigration officers were not welcome at the property. You can go enforce immigration elsewhere, but you can't do it here. In Minnesota, we burning tires. They even went so far as to research names online and cancel reservations after the fact, just as Q just said. And that was a decision. That was not a misunderstanding either. Like we know because they put it in writing. Well, hey, you know what I give them credit for? Saying how they believe.
True.
Saying what they believes. But let's slow down on the bigger issue here. Because this isn't really about a hotel chain. I don't want because it's not. We're about to say why. We're not condemning Hilton or the Hiltons. We're friends. I definitely don't want to be enemies. Man, this is about selective exclusion. You hear a lot of times about selective inclusion. This is about selective exclusion. ICE agents are federal law enforcement officers. They're not activists or politicians. They're not influencers. They're doing the job that Congress authorized, that's courts oversee, and voters have argued about for decades. You could support or oppose immigration policy. Whatever. Free country. That debate is fair, and I would even say healthy, as long as it's peaceful. What isn't healthy, though, is private businesses deciding that law enforcement officers, based solely on their assignment, are unfit to stay in their hotel. If a hotel can refuse rooms to ICE agents today, can another refuse to any other law enforcement based just on that tomorrow?
Or what about other groups?
We're getting there. DEA agents, U.S. Marshals, IRS. What about IRS? Well, you can kick them out. They got a lot of guns, a lot of badges and guns. Don't mess with IRS.
They armed the CPAs?
They armed them.
That's scary.
There's a lot of guns in the IRS, I'm telling you. And I think most of them were given under Democrat leadership. I thought y'all weren't. Oh, they are pro-Second Amendment for government and bad guys. They want criminals and government to have the only people to have guns. Makes a lot of sense, not really. But yeah, well, why stop it at ICE agents? Like you said, what if they have an issue with the Girl Scouts of America and having their little cookie bake-off or whatever it is? I mean, I'm not trying to downgrade cookie sales, which I love. Love them. Whatever. You pick your poison. Pick whatever you want. Imagine the precedent. We want to talk about precedent. That's what the Democrat leadership these days. Precedent. They're so worried about precedent. Well, I'd like to use a precedent that they used to pass Obamacare, and I'd like my friend Joni Ernst in Iowa, who found $2.1 trillion to drop a bill on Capitol Hill and ramrodded through budget reconciliation where you don't have to have the stupid 60 votes. It's not because Republicans can't do it. It's because they won't do it. And I'm angry about it. I'm not really angry, but really, it is frustrating to know. It's like, why do you keep taking our money? You're taking our money and giving it where? Now, hotels are not required to love federal policy. But when you advertise publicly available rooms, take federal reservations, and then single out law enforcement officers for cancellation even after the fact, which is crazy, you have crossed from expression into obstruction. And that is not hard to follow. And here's where this gets especially relevant right now. You may have seen or heard Minnesota is under heightened federal scrutiny because of one of the largest fraud investigations in the country. I mean, right now, think about how relevant this is, though. Billions potentially stolen. Anywhere from 1 to I'm going to say 7. There's someone saying 9 out there, but okay, $1 too much. Dozens charged, I think up to 90. More cases coming. That means more investigators, more auditors, more, not the political auditors, real ones. More enforcement personnel on the ground. A lot of stuff has to happen here. It's going to happen. So those agents are going to need places to sleep. Not luxury or anything. They're not asking for luxury. That's not privilege, like beds. So that they can go and bravely do the task that we Americans are asking these wonderful officers to do. And to keep us safe. And man, Minnesota, like what happened? What is going on? I mean, the sentiment, like, you can't hate one person so much where you just disagree with anything that comes out of his mouth, because this is really helping you. And I don't understand how any of the leaders that we're seeing over there, although we are seeing more and more Democrat leadership over there, I guess they have to, but always compliment the good, calling out what's going on. So anywho, we're going to take a tiny little break. When we get back, we're going to pick this story up. We got so much more to cover today, and I can't wait. to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette. Shout out to our viewing audience at KLFY Plus. Love being on the lineup. You can catch us every day, 3 to 4 KLFY Plus. Also on Sundays, 3 p.m. as well. We love our partners over there. Let's see here. So we're talking about, I can't make it up. So a Hilton in Minnesota, not the chain. Well, it is part of the chain, and we'll get to that if we have time. They refused some ICE agents to stay. They booked them, and then they found out they were ICE agents, and they not only kicked them out, they sent them. They made sure they were clear on their intent, because they certainly made sure to put in writing exactly why they're not allowed on the property. But what's that?
Do you think they would have done the same thing if it was a group of trans activists? Or maybe they would have had
not transgenerational.
Not transgenerational.
We have a different group. Yeah. What would they have done? What do you think? Of course we know. But look, to our friends in Minnesota, refusing these guys, these ICE agents, service, it doesn't make the investigation go away. Like, what's wrong with these people? It just signals where someone's sympathies lie when accountability shows up. Knockety knock knock, and they go running. And what's striking is how casually this was all done. An email, a copy-paste explanation, a quiet cancellation, as if federal agents enforcing immigration law are somehow less deserving of basic accommodation than anyone else wearing a government badge. Oh, just them. Just them. Hey, that should concern liberals. That should concern liberals, moderates, conservatives alike. Because today it's immigration enforcement. Tomorrow it's financial crimes. The next day it's civil rights investigation. When enforcement becomes ideological, rule of law becomes optional. So whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, what I'm saying right now should resonate. This is not a liberal or conservative issue. This is an American issue. And let's be clear about something else. The men and women of ICE aren't freelancing. They aren't making policy. They aren't running rogue operations either. They answer to civilian leadership created by Congress. They operate under judicial oversight. They face legal consequences if they step out of bounds. So you don't punish the referee because you don't like the rules or, change the rules. But if someone believes immigration law should change, say that. Argue it. Vote it. Litigate it. That's how a constitutional republic works. But refusing service to law enforcement officers because you dislike the laws they enforce is not reform, my dear friends. That is straight up sabotage dressed up as a little virtue. A little virtue over there. Can't do that. Y'all are mean. What makes this moment especially revealing, seriously though, is how comfortable some people have become with treating enforcement as optional when it conflicts with their politics. We have lost it in some of these communities across our country. Just because they have an R by their name doesn't mean anything. But that mindset spreads fast. Where treating enforcement is optional. It's like wildfire. It spreads fast, it erodes trust, and it doesn't stop where people think it will. That's the thing. Today it's a hotel in Minnesota. All right. Tomorrow it's banks refusing accounts. Don't act like we haven't seen something like that. Contractors refusing service, vendors refusing cooperation. At that point, law enforcement doesn't break down because of corruption. It breaks down because of social permission. Again, I know there's some Democrats listening. There's some Republicans. I think there's a few Republicans listening. This is an issue we should all agree on. I don't think this is a left or right issue. And you do see some Democrat leaders in the state of Minnesota calling it what it is, and that's good. But once it gets to where it's getting to, once law enforcement breaks down because we as a society gave it permission to break down, once that happens, it's become scary because nobody gets to choose where the line is anymore. And we're I mean, look about what we're arguing here about. Can boys go into girls' bathrooms and vice versa, or whatever? Men and women's sport. They're trying to push that line to confusion to the nth degree by design. By design. So, yes, Hilton corporate should investigate here. And I think they are. Franchise operators should be held to standards. Hilton has high standards. Policy should be clarified. That's all appropriate. Now, have you heard anything by the national guys on Hilton?
Oh, I think they pulled the franchise.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. They really they didn't play around with that. And nor should, think about it. Hilton, a worldwide brand, a business. They definitely don't want to isolate, let's say, half of the population in America. I think more than half supports law enforcement, but let's just say it's half. Okay, you don't want to do that from a business standpoint. You don't want to exclude anybody.
And they have the federal contracts for housing federal employees on the road.
That's right. Yeah. How dumb this operator, how dumb do you have to be? Did they have to? I bet they had to change their Hilton sign.
I bet Hilton Corporate sent someone out with some paint today.
Yeah, some stencils.
Maybe they can go by the Quality Leering Center after.
Gosh, man. Minnesota. So, yes, Hilton, good job on that. I think that. And the broader lesson here is it's bigger than one hotel, that's for sure. A country that asks law enforcement to enforce laws must also be willing to treat them as legitimate professionals while they do it. I don't think that's abnormal. Anything less turns disagreement into dysfunction. And that's more decay. That is definitely not strength. And Americans across party lines deserve better than that. So when we get back, we're going to take a little break. When we get back, we're going to talk about a bill over there in Minnesota, regarding Minnesota, that I don't know, it's worth talking about. Love to hear your thoughts. All right, guys, phone lines are open, 232-1542. Give us a shout. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on Rumble, rumble.com. Let me see you over there, rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show. Let's go straight to the phone lines, 232-1542. You can also call us 844-766-6607. I was about to send a search party for this nice, kind gentleman, even if he disagrees with me right here. Justin, what's up, my man?
Not too much. Listen, I don't disagree with you on concept that they should have let them stay there. But you talked about precedent. Let's not forget who set the precedent. That was the Republican Supreme Court. Remember the gay couple and the baker?
Oh.
They said that you can discriminate against any of your customers if you don't want to service them.
That's with the Baker. Okay, yeah. The case is not Baker. That was during the gay marriage, basically the same gender marriage. Okay, yeah. That is true. Justin, that's a good point, man. That's a good point.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. Now that was based on, I will say this though, if we really want to nerd it out, I don't remember, you may remember this better than I do, but I think that was based on religious beliefs though, right? It wasn't. Or do you?
Yes.
Okay, so that might narrow it a little bit, but I don't think they can do what they're doing. That's my thoughts. I don't think they'll be able to do that. But I don't know. But you bring but that's the argument. That's the argument against it. So good job. All right, we gotta roll on. Hey, appreciate you, Justin. All right, let's see here. Let's go to Norm from the Poche Bridge. What? Did you hang up on Norm?
Norm, I apologize.
Oh my! You straight up you hung up on Norm. Let's go to Renee. Renee!
I got a remedy. I got a super duper remedy for all that. One that make the news anyhow it's full of the left. First of all, the government, federal government has to have something. They already have regulations. It's kind of like Angie's List, but Federal Workers and Housing Act / regulation. And do you know, anyhow, it's a Hilton in Minnesota, there's Hiltons all over the country. Do you know how many federal jobs house their people, all the reservists, forestry? When that happens, something like that, they should make Hilton feel the pain, and that's it. Everybody go and live somewhere else, and then on top of that, there should be a lawsuit against them for discriminating against the ICE agents. They should have lawyers for the ICE agents, lawsuit them till they go to the Supreme Court and see what happened to that. Let's make the left feel the pain. They always want to ferret us all over the place. Like Maxine Waters said, let's give them what they've been giving us for the last 40 years.
Thanks, Renee. Man, hey, look, I feel the sentiment. But to bring folks where you want to bring them, you got to act right. You do. Otherwise, you're just like them. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because I'm telling you, most Democrats aren't like the Democrat leaders in the DNC. Most Americans agree on most things. And look what Justin and I. He didn't disagree with the concept. He made a valid point. We recognize it. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. This is what we do. This is what Americans should do. Talk about it. Not hate someone. My God, just because you disagree. That's so silly. All right, now our boy Norm. We're coming to you after Norm from Poche Bridge. Q, don't hang up on Norm. What's up, Norm?
I didn't hang up.
Norm, that's you. I saw Quentin. All right, go to Warren.
Hey.
What's up, Warren?
Hilton's already feeling the pain. You saw what happened to Budweiser and Target. I don't think they've ever recovered. And I think the executives are trying to right the ship, so that their stock dropped, I believe, already, but it'll correct itself. Y'all were talking about Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer, and the reason they're so mad is their name's on the list. That's why they mad. And I'm not going to say the name, but there's another senator from Louisiana that's on the list.
Well, Warren, you can't. Hold on. What? I don't know if that's true. What you think?
I haven't been able to find the list, and I looked all over the internet.
But there is chatter going around with that. But I don't, until we know. All right, we're going to give this another go, Norm. Let's see here. What you got, Norm, from Poche Bridge?
Well, I started running my mouth. I thought I was cut off. I'm thinking of something.
Never.
That was something in my mind called reconciliation. How do you reconcile? I'll give you an example. And, no blacks around me, and now no federal agents in my hotel. How are you going to reconcile that? How are you going to reconcile no kings, but we're going to free the dictator?
Yeah.
Just every time somebody reconcile. Hey, I could be. I'm not that smart, but maybe somebody would tell me what's going on.
Hey, nailed it. Nailed it, Norm, as always. Man, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Always have great callers here at the Josh Giller Show. We certainly appreciate you. Go check us out at rumble.com. Hey, if you hadn't had a chance, give us a little follow. Go check us out. We won't break your screen, I promise. At least I'll try not to. Okay, so we have some action in regards to Minnesota. Let's talk about the bill that just dropped in the House, because this one, it goes straight to a question Americans, I think, are finally demanding answers to. All right, so Texas Congressman Wesley Hunt, good job. Now, Senator Ernst, he dropped the bill. Well, she knows how to drop bills. She did the egg labeling.
She had the egg labeling.
Yeah, you're going to label eggs.
She's going to study government waste.
Yes.
Government money.
While saying in the same breath she found $2.1 trillion that could instantly be cut.
But hey, she needs another study. She has to study it twice.
Come on, man. Giving Republicans a bad name. All right, but Texas Congressman Wesley Hunt says otherwise. He introduced legislation that would end temporary protected status for migrants from several countries, including Somalia. Now, if it passes, people here under that status would have 180 days to leave. This is clearly pointed to the situation in Minnesota. I did not know. At what point did I have nothing against any Somali or anything. I was just curious, when did the Somalia community migrate to Minnesota? Seems cold.
And that is a great question and a great point.
I could sense like Florida or the South, on the Gulf or something, but
snow? It's
cold. Yeah. And it's like snow, cold and stuff. Mm-mm. I mean, that's crazy. Well, but that bill, it seems to do something. So I would say that headline alone is enough to make people a little emotional if you think about it. Let's, 180 days. So that means if you're here, you could be here legally. And if you, my dear friend, are from Somalia, well, guess what? You got 180 days. So let's get grounded here. And by the way, shout out to CSafe, man. CSafe.com. Go check them out, man. Temporary protected status was never meant to be permanent. We've been treating temporary status as permanent for quite some time. It was designed as a stopgap, a little pause button, a humanitarian bridge while conditions in a home country stabilize. That's goodwill. That's a lot. It was not designed to become a lifetime residency program that runs on autopilot, because we see what that's doing. Talking about auto corrupt fraud at a large level, $7 billion. Let's go to Rob. He understands. Rob, what's up, buddy? Bring the heat.
Hey,
what's up?
Hey, brother. You know what? I am extremely impressed that somebody is actually following through on something, because, the Somali fraud headlines all kind of got overshadowed by the capture of the dictator Maduro. So it's just reassuring that for once a politician actually paid attention long enough to try to change something.
Man, yep, absolutely. Well said, Rob. Well said. Well noted. And yeah, follow through, man. That's good. Do it. Do something. Stop talking so much. Gosh. I mean, really. The law didn't change here. I think what changed is what we've learned. I think that's what has changed here. You know, Minnesota is now ground zero for one of the largest doggone fraud investigations in modern American history. None of that happened overnight. None of that happened quietly either. But when systems are abused at scale, policymakers are forced to re-examine the assumptions that built those systems. And I think that's what this bill represents. You know, it's not a verdict on every immigrant, and it shouldn't be treated that way. It's not a claim that everyone from a certain country is guilty of anything either. It is recognition that blanket protections without constant review invite exploitation. And when that exploitation drains resources meant for kids and families and vulnerable Americans, the government has an obligation to respond. So, all right, we're going to take a tiny little break. When we get back, we're going to keep those phone lines open. I can't wait. And we'll put a little bow on this topic. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Broadcasting live on rumble.com as well. Go check us out, the Josh Guillory Show. Hey, man, when strength matters, when custom matters, when failure's not an option, C-Safe delivers. C-Safe FRP products, they're engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments. From offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between, their products are American-made over there at C-Safe. And C-Safe manufactures right here in Acadiana by American workers. Check them out. csafe.com. SEA, just like the ocean. Get your floaties on. All righty. Let's see here. So, all of this, ending TPS. Doesn't accuse, it resets. So let's bring the folks back at TPS, temporary protected status. So there's a bill on Capitol Hill that would say, if it passed, that immigrants from certain countries, to include Somalia, would have 180 days to get out of our country. That's a big deal. That hits home over there in Minnesota. But the whole temporary protected anything means temporary. It says humanitarian protection requires accountability. That's what this act says. It says vetting is not optional anymore just because a program has been around a long time. You know, here's the thing. You know, that's a principle most Americans, I think, understand, again, instinctively. But what's striking is how quickly critics jump to motives instead of mechanics. You ever notice that?
Yep.
Instead of asking where TPS still serves its original purpose, remember I told you power doesn't leave. The people leave, but power does, and their carnage stays. It doesn't leave. All their destruction, even if it was helping when they were in. But we need to see, where does this status even help anymore as far as its original purpose? They accuse, think about it. Instead of asking whether that happened, where it is, they accuse anyone raising the question of hostility or bias. Man, that shuts down the conversation pretty quickly. You know, right when the facts demand one, shuts it down. So Congressman Hunt, good job. He tied this bill directly to the Minnesota fraud probe for a reason. Oh, he ain't playing. It's a good, well, from what I know of it, it's a good bill. When public trust collapses, policies don't survive on good intentions. They survive on results. And those results are serious. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Expansive programs with weak oversight do not just fail in the dead of night, quietly. They attract these bad actors. And when leaders ignore these warning signs, well, the damage compounds. We see that. Minnesota got here because compassion wasn't paired with verification. The people of Minnesota have plenty of compassion. The people in the nation have plenty of compassion. But you got to pair that compassion with a little common sense. Hey, how about a little bit of look through? Hey, is this happening? Is that happening? You know? But that's what happens when big government. This bill, what it should do is say, I'm shrinking the federal government by 25%. What if we did that? I mean, you probably could go further, but what if you just said, hey, 25% across the board, figure it out? That'd be something. But all of this, what the congressman's doing and what leaders are doing on Capitol Hill to address this is not cruelty. And all this compassion not being matched and coupled with verification, that's just reality. Ending temporary protective status forces a very hard review. Who qualifies? Who complies? Who stays? Who goes? Those are questions a sovereign nation has every single right to ask, especially when taxpayer dollars are involved. Very sensitive at that point. Anybody want to give the government any more money than they are already taking? I didn't know takers on that. And we could talk about the politics about this for a moment as well. Governor Walz, he didn't have anything under control. He stepped aside because the scrutiny isn't slowing down. It's not because, he had a good handle on it. Wow. When accountability shows up, careers often change direction when you're not doing the right thing. When you have to resign, it's different than, if you didn't resign. Like if he ran for a third term and didn't get elected, okay, well, all right, you ran and but people don't just do this. He didn't resign, I will say that. But Americans across the spectrum are tired of systems that grow forever and answer to no one. So, guys, that's all the time we have today. My goodness, I wish we had some more time Q, but we can't do it. Guys, thank you so much. Be careful out there. May God bless you and be kind.